Welcome to the Path 11 podcast. With your hosts, April and Mike, we have a very different show today. We happened to stumble upon a really great web series on lucid dreaming, and we are speaking to two of the three co-founders of Finite Films. Who we have with us today is Alex Calleros and Ryan McDuffie, who couldn't be with us, and Michael Tucker joined us as well today.
Yeah, this is kind of like a bonus episode. It's not our typical episode where we talk to an expert in out-of-body experiences or channeling or, Reiki. This is two filmmakers that they put together this short film called Anamnesis. And actually, the short film is actually a 20-minute prologue to a 5-episode web series on lucid dreaming. And we thought it'd be interesting to bring them to the podcast so they can talk about, the films and how they came across lucid dreaming. And we want to try and help them get exposure to possibly bringing in either another film or a season 2, maybe season 3, if we're lucky. Because the series is well done, and we wanted to give them credit, for doing a really good job with the series. And we highly recommend that you stop the podcast right now and click the link in the show notes and watch the short film and the web series. It's only five episodes. Each one's about 10 to 12 minutes, and the prologue film is about 20-some minutes. It's not a long time, but I highly suggest you watch it first because we do talk about some spoilers, and it probably is good to watch it before we talk about it.
Great. So we'd like to tell you a little bit more about Alex Calleros. Alex grew up in far too sunny Chandler, Arizona. Upon seeing Jurassic Park in first grade, his obsession with dinosaurs promptly transformed into a passion for filmmaking. As a writer, director, and editor, Alex loves to create and explore new worlds in his films, whether it be the anxiety-ridden perspective of a socially inept teacher, the lush dreams of a dying man, or a lone cabin in a post-apocalyptic future. We also have with us Michael Tucker, and he is a native of the Bay Area and has been making films since a very young age. He is an accomplished writer, editor, motion graphics artist, and director. He has an affinity for dark, Fincher-esque styles of filmmaking, as well as optimistic, light-hearted, romantic comedies. His passion for filmmaking has only grown since the founding of Finite Films, and has his appreciation for the hard work and cooperation necessary to make a project truly special. If you'd like to know more about their films, please visit finite-films.com.
All right, welcome Alex Calleros and Michael Tucker to the show.
Thanks.
Hi.
We just want to say, that was such a great film, the prologue to Anamesis, and the 5 episodes that you've posted so far. It's just, the quality is absolutely amazing. The story, the intertwining stories, the acting, the whole production quality in general is just amazing. So we wanted to know where you got the idea for us doing a film about lucid dreaming.
So the kind of background for us and our company, Finite Films, myself, Michael, and then our friend Ryan McDuffie, we all went to film school together at UC Santa Cruz here in Northern California. And we really liked working together in college. And so when we all moved down to LA eventually, we wanted to get together and just kind of keep making films together. So we set up Finite Films, and we did this year of just making a short film every month. And during that year, one of the films was Anamnesis, which kind of became what we call now the short film prologue. So that's kind of where the short film came from, was from this year in 2012 when we did all that. And for me, that film really was inspired a lot by just some of my favorite movies, Inception and The Fountain, and just Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is another one. And I think I had always wanted to make a film that could take place in the dream world. And I kind of realized that I hadn't really seen a film about kind of the moment before you die in a kind of a creative way, where throughout a short film, maybe you could show from a first-person perspective what it would be like to watch your life flash before your eyes, but it's kind of do it in a fun, inception-y way. So that's really where the short film came from. And at that point, I mean, I definitely was aware of lucid dreaming, and I think probably like kind of some of the dream stuff in the short film reflected lucid dreaming experiences I'd heard about. But we really kind of got excited about lucid dreaming when we moved on to the series, and we're thinking, what could be a great ongoing mystery, and we thought lucid dreaming is a great kind of phenomenon that we hadn't really seen explored very much in film or TV before.
Yeah, I think like Inception, like you said, was probably the only somewhat film about shared dreaming, and yeah, I mean, you guys portrayed it perfectly, at least from what I my experiences and from what I've heard. Now, did you have a consultant on set that kind of help out with certain situations? Because you have the one character who's, and I'm talking more about the 5 episodes. He has the A on his hand. I can't remember the character's name.
Sean.
Yes, and he can he's consciously doing it. He's kind of initiates all the lucid dreams. Everybody else is kind of just a bystander.
Yeah, well, going into making the series, once we sort of realized that lucid dreaming was going to be kind of what it all focused on and centered around, we did some research ourselves on lucid dreaming, and then Alex has a really good friend named Gary Ruiz who had been a lucid dreamer and had practiced a lot, so Alex talked to him and got some of his firsthand experiences and learned a lot that way. But what was also really great was when we did the Kickstarter campaign to raise the money for the web series. Daniel Love, who's sort of a lucid dreaming expert and wrote the book Are You Dreaming? He found us, reached out to us, and said, I'm excited about the project. If you guys ever need a consultant, need someone to look at the scripts, let me know. And so we took him up on that, and he sent us free copies of his book, and we looked at that, and he looked at all the scripts, read the episodes, and had suggestions of like, this works, this doesn't ring quite true, like maybe you could try this, or like play around with that. So we definitely got to spend a lot of time in the pre-production phase researching, and then having Daniel Love be a consultant to make sure we portrayed it as accurately as possible.
Would you like to give a brief description of what the series actually is?
Yeah, so I think probably the shortest way to describe the series would be it's about a group of strangers who kind of find their lives starting to collide in the dream world. And so that's kind of the mystery that is introduced in these first 5 episodes is what's going on here, what's the connection these people have. And most of them aren't lucid, so they're not really aware of what's happening. But one character, Sean, is able to be lucid. So he's kind of starting to piece together, I'm somehow connected with these people, and they're not just figments of my imagination. They're actually human beings in my waking life as well. And
before we got on the call, in our introduction to you, we told our audience that there probably will be spoilers on this, so we want them to watch it before they listen to the interview part of the show.
Cool.
But, it was a very spoilery description, yeah.
And
I can say another one if it's better to do a really simple, not spoilery one.
Yeah, sure.
I guess the other kind of shorter synopsis that's not spoilery would be a woman named Hannah has a dream about her boyfriend's death on the same night he's murdered, which kind of sends her on this journey of trying to figure out what's going on in the dream world and how she's able to know things about other people when she wasn't there. So I don't know. We struggle with this actually because there's so many different characters and what's the best way to pitch it briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you say it, Michael? sorry, guys.
Yeah. So Anamnesis is about a group of characters. One of the characters is a woman named Hannah who has a vision of her boyfriend's death on the same night that he's murdered. There's a character named Sean who is a lucid dreamer, and he's sort of bored of his waking life and just can't wait to get home from work and escape into his lucid dreams where he feels like he can really be himself. And then there's also a character named Noah, who's this kind of struggling composer who is starting to feel like he's losing grasp on reality. And Anamnesis is about how all these three characters' different stories come to intertwine in the world of lucid dreaming.
Yeah, those are pretty good descriptions.
That's better.
Now, you brought up Noah, and that was an interesting story because and here's another spoiler. He's like in a coma or on his deathbed almost, right? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, Michael's. One of your friends, Steve, kind of gave you the idea, right? Of like somebody who, what if there was somebody who was kind of trapped in the dream world in some kind of a comatose state and was there so long, they kind of lost track of what was real, or it kind of had a whole like separate life in the dream world.
Yeah, I had a friend who, I forget what happened to him, but he passed out for a while. And when he woke up, he said he remembered like spending what felt like a year in this whole other place with characters and people that he like made friends with and like fell in love with and all the stuff that had happened in just like a matter of minutes. But for him, it felt like this whole period of time. And so that was sort of the inspiration for Noah, is like, what if, if you're in a coma and you can still dream, your mind is still working. So what would it be like if you felt like your whole life was one way, but then as you started to be pulled from this coma or wake up, the cracks in the facade of your life started to break through?
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting with the clock, when you looked at the clock and it was always jittering, and the thing with his girlfriend or wife, she just felt off.
Yeah.
And that was very unique how you were able to portray that. And I'm kind of switching gears a little bit and talking about some of the production of it. I really liked in the prologue the Adam character, and I was kind of disappointed that he wasn't in the the series because he did it so well.
I know, us too. It's kind of frustrating that he dies. Because,
yeah.
When we made the short film, we didn't have any intention of making a series based off of it. But then a producer, Jeremy Norris, approached us like a year later, saying he loved the short and wanted to kind of co-produce a series based off of it. And I was like, well, damn it. We killed off, Dan Beckner's one of our favorite actors to work with, the guy who played Adam. But if we make more episodes, one thing we have in mind is that more and more of the characters will hopefully start to become more lucid in their dreams. And Hannah, who was Adam's girlfriend, we would imagine would want to kind of visit him in the dream world somehow.
Okay.
So he may return if we're able to make more.
And I thought Hannah, the actress, she was amazing because she was actually playing two different characters between the short film where she's in his dream, but then in the series when she's in the waking life, she's got to be depressed and all that. I just thought she did it so well. Your choice of casting was brilliant. I do have a question though about, I don't know if you have season 2 written totally yet, but the third person in the copy shop. I don't know if you can spoil any of that or if you want to.
I don't think we can either.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah.
We do have reasons for everything, and everything that's kind of planted in these first 5 episodes actually does have a plan in place. So
okay.
we tried not to do the thing where we write ourselves into a total corner and have no answers for people, because we hate that when a show does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't know how far in advance when writing the series, how far in advance you went.
Yeah, we basically, our first step was like, you know, because we're big fans of Lost, and
Yes. Yep.
we loved going on the journey of Lost, and it was kind of frustrating at the end when it felt like, well, they didn't really know what they were doing this whole time. There wasn't really this grand scheme plan. So when we started writing Anamnesis, we wanted to, as much as we could, have a like big picture plan of where we wanted it to end, what we want to happen to the characters, and all of those changes and iterations in mind. So we spent a lot of time figuring out that and the world and like the greater story, and getting excited about like what the future seasons would be like, so that then we could go back and write this season 1 knowing where we wanted to go ahead of time. So we tried to do that as much as possible. Obviously things change as you actually make the show, but we definitely have a plan in mind of where we want to go.
I was just curious to know, did you guys film it in LA, where you guys are from?
We filmed in a few locations. Honestly, a lot of it was just budgetary, because filming in LA is really expensive. People here know that you can charge an arm and a leg to rent a location to a film production, because Hollywood films here. So
Right.
So we had to find a lot of locations just via friends and family, and so based on that, we kind of moved the production wherever we had to. So we filmed in places like Santa Barbara, because our producer lived there. He knew about some good outdoor locations we could film at. We got permits for. We filmed at our friend's beach house, or our friend's family's beach house in Oceanside, which is kind of towards San Diego. That's where all the Noah scenes take place. And we even filmed up in Northern California, because we could not find a single diner in LA that could give us an affordable rate to film in. So for all those diner dream scenes, we had to drive all the way up to Northern California for that.
It was actually cheaper to drive the whole cast and crew and fly one of the cast members to Northern California than to just film in a diner in LA.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they made for a fun road trip, but yeah, it was really, locations are the hardest when you're trying to do a really low budget series like this, because it's very, very expensive.
Yeah, and the characters that you did cast, are they personal friends of yours, or people that actually auditioned out for the parts?
It was like half and half. Like a lot of them, if you watch our other short films on our website, you'll see a lot of them pop up in other films. So yeah, I mean, we knew Mallory, who played Hannah. We knew Zach, who played Sean. Brian Monahan, who plays the psychiatrist, Dr. Spaulding. We had already met them through other productions, and we're already friends with them. And then we cast Brad Wilcox, who plays Noah, and the Detective Sterling, Nathan Graham Smith, and a creepy wife, Kincaid Walker. All them, they actually came in and auditioned, so it was kind of half and half.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got season 1 done. Now you're looking to get funds and distribution so you can get season 2 going. I know we kind of talked a little bit about this through email, setting up this podcast, but you want to talk a little bit more about what you're looking to get for to start season 2?
Yeah, I mean, so for this first season, it was really a labor of love, and honestly, a lot of the cast and crew didn't get even paid. It was really just all our budget went towards locations and food to feed people, and gas money for driving places. So it was kind of an unsustainable model. It was kind of a one-off where we kind of asked everybody to do it as a favor, and hopefully we could have an actual budget in the future. So now that we have put it out there, we've seen a response in the lucid dreaming community. People want more. We'd love to make more, but we do need to find a way to have a more serious budget for future episodes. We can actually pay everybody for all the time and work they're going to put in. So our ideal scenario would be if we could find some kind of distributor who is interested in a kind of a sci-fi drama series in this online format that would want to pick up the show for season 2 and at least partially fund it. We do have a lot of fans that could maybe help kickstart it, but for the kind of budget we'd need, it would really help to have a distributor.
Because really, like at the production value that we did the web series at, and that we would want to do the next season at, like it's essentially a feature film. Like it's all the episodes together about 70, 75 minutes. And so, yeah, it's weird being in the space of, web series, where most web series are sort of, cheap, YouTube, just the first things you think of when someone says web series. But we wanted to make it like legitimate, like a show, and really go all out with production value. But to do that and raise a budget for that would definitely be more expensive.
Yeah, we kind of found ourselves, by accident in this weird limbo of like, we want to make it like it's a real TV show, but we've always operated in this online web space, and we like, being online and having our fans online. So
yeah,
there's just kind of there's not really a financial model yet that we've seen for high production value web series. I think it's like a missing link in the kind of different markets, but we're hoping that that's changing, because people like Vimeo and Hulu and stuff, they're these online platforms where people are open to watching something that's not a hour long show. People online don't care how long something is, really, because it's all just online video. And
yeah, I was going to ask you about that. The season 2, would the episodes be longer, or you're going to keep them about the same length?
I mean, it really depends on, who, if we found a distributor, kind of what their format was. I mean, if they want us to make, several half-hour shows or even hour-long shows, and they have the budget for that, I think we're open to expanding the show into different directions. But if we kind of did the minimal amount that, to keep it low budget and to keep it something that we could definitely accomplish, we were thinking that we'd want to make 2 more 6-episode series in the same kind of the same time format as now, where it's like 10 to 15 minutes per episode. But that would be essentially making 2 feature films, because it'd be 2 kind of 90-minute blocks of content.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was just thinking that I had suggested in that email that Gaiam TV might be a good fit for the lucid dreaming community, but you're the writing and the characters and the stories are so likable and so easy to follow in a way that I think you might actually potentially be able to get some sort of deal, probably through Netflix or Hulu, and because everybody's looking for original content these days, and I don't know, I think you might be able to do pretty well with them.
Yeah, it's basically just trying to get it in front of somebody at those places, and then also just, are they okay with the current format, and if not, then is there a solution to that? Since we're in the 15-minute kind of range. We do have a cut of the web series that we kind of trimmed down and combined into 1 hour-long episode. So we do have the ability, if anybody knows anybody from Netflix or these kind of other more traditional formats that are looking for like an hour-long show, we do have a version of the first 5 episodes kind of combined into an hour-long pilot. So we can pitch it that way. It just wasn't, written or designed to be that, but it could be in the future. Yeah, we were really interested in telling more of almost like a long-form movie story that had a beginning, middle, and end that we already had in mind. And so I think it kind of would fit better in like a more forward-thinking, maybe new premium online network like a Netflix or a Hulu or those kind of places where it's kind of acceptable to not just do the standard repeatable TV show.
Right. Yeah.
Do you guys have any maybe interesting behind the scenes stories of making this series? I know that before we got online here, you guys had talked about that you had some personal experiences of lucid dreaming, but I was curious to know, did any of the cast members who maybe had no clue about lucid dreaming or ever delved into that, did they have any during the making of the series?
Yeah. When preparing for the shooting the series and pre-production, we were talking with Zach, who plays Sean, who's the lucid dreaming expert, and he really wanted to research lucid dreaming and know as much as he could about it, so that when he has to teach people about it in the show, it feels real and authentic. So he read books about lucid dreaming and would listen to YouTube guided, falling asleep audio tracks. and he's for a while he actually wrote the A on his hand every day as the dream reminder symbol. And I know he had a couple lucid dreams. The one that I remember the most had something to do with he became lucid, and then Whoopi Goldberg was his dream guide and guided him through a bunch of funny situations. So yeah, he was one of the cast members that did start to have lucid dreaming experiences just from making the show.
Whoopi Goldberg would be the best dream spirit guide.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you brought Whoopi Goldberg into season 2, it'd probably be jumping the shark a little.
Yeah.
Even though it's about lucid dreaming, but
yeah, we kind of kept it pretty serious, lucid dreaming. We're kind of keeping it non-goofy, just to kind of keep the mood of the show. Because with dreams you can go crazy and make it real goofy, but I think the tone that we're going for is a little more mysterious, dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even both of us had lucid dreaming experiences during the making of. I know you had a really vivid one.
Yeah, I had one that I always tell people about because it really struck me as okay, I get it now. This is why lucid dreaming can be freaking amazing. It was kind of an accidental wake-induced lucid dream where I kind of woke up way too early one morning, was trying to go back to sleep. And as I felt myself falling back asleep, I had been aware of lucid dreaming techniques at that point, and I was like, okay, try to remain conscious as you fall into this sleep state. And it worked, and it was just really kind of nuts because I actually felt the transition between my waking and dreaming state, and felt in an instant my body fly off my bed, kind of launch off. Which I'd never experienced something like that before. My body was still kind of frozen in its sleep position, but I actually felt like I was in my room, launching off my bed and kind of just traveling away from my room. And I found myself over my childhood backyard in Arizona, and floating over a swimming pool. And I kind of dove into the swimming pool, and I could breathe underwater. When I looked up at the surface, it was raining, and there were infinite raindrops on the surface of the water, and there was a dust storm, and it was just so vivid. I'd never seen kind of colors and texture like that in my waking life. It was more vivid than reality. So I got so excited at that point that I woke up, of course.
Wow.
But that really struck me, and I would love to try to somehow portray something like that in a future episode of the series. Just maybe I've thought a lot about the character of Hannah, and just how she's kind of just becoming lucid by the end of episode 5. I mean, she's kind of just kind of starting to remember her dreams, but I think she's going to be a fun character if we make a season 2, because she'll be learning how to lucid dream, and we'll kind of be with her if she has her first aha experience like that. So that could be fun to try to portray.
I know what you mean about the having a lucid dream and kind of flying off the bed kind of thing. That's kind of how mine were, and it's a weird sensation. And
it was very startling. I was like, "This is nuts." Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be that intense.
With mine, and this was only a couple weeks ago. I had the similar situation where I wake up early and then go back to sleep, and sometimes I do it to trigger the lucid dream because it's one of the popular techniques to do. And mine was kind of, usually it's I'm kind of rotating over the bed like a rotisserie, and and I'm trying to fight it. I'm like, no, I'm too tired. I really got to sleep. And then this other time, the bed just kind of dropped out from under me, kind of like a pinball paddle, and it just fell through. And then I dropped into a scene and interacted in the scene. It was very weird, but I don't usually get the transition. It's kind of, I'm falling asleep in bed, and all of a sudden I black out, and then I reawake, and I'm in that state. But it can be startling if you're not aware of what's going on, though.
Yeah.
And do you have a timetable of when you would like to see season 2 get going, or you're just kind of holding out for working on deals and distribution?
I mean, yeah, because we're kind of in this place where we really can't commit to season 2 unless we have, the kind of financial support we need. So we don't want to say anything, promise anything that we can't deliver on. And one thing that we want to do too is try to make sure that if we make any kind of distribution deal for the series, if we're going to have to move season 1 off YouTube in any way as part of the deal, we want to guarantee that if we're going to have to take it off YouTube, it'll be hosted in a place where all of our fans can still access it. But also that part of that deal would be getting a guaranteed season 2, from it. Because, we're not really interested in just taking the 5 episodes we have and monetizing them as much as we want to just make more and have those be monetized. So we're still trying to figure out where is the best platform to kind of meet our needs and give us the kind of deal we're looking for. And that's just been elusive so far, but we're keeping our eyes and ears open.
Ongoing process.
Yeah.
And that's actually how we found you, through one of your fans. Jeff Finley is his name. He also has a podcast himself, but he ended up following us on Twitter and, just making some comments. And of course, he posted something about your series and, hey, the past series, have you guys looked at this? And we went ahead and took a look at it, and, Mike got really excited about it, and here we are today.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been really, it's been crazy how excited people have been for the series and really want to spread the word and tell all their friends and blast the social media. It's really rewarding we spent all this time making it, hoping someone will like it, and then to get this kind of response has been just really awesome. So
especially from the lucid dreaming community, because since we're not pro lucid dreamers ourselves, that we just kind of researched it mostly secondhand, we were worried that we weren't going to nail it, and people would be like, "Oh, you didn't do it right." So that we got it good enough is great, and we want to continue to even show more types of lucid dreaming experiences in future episodes, and really try to get the whole spectrum in there.
And more about the production, you had a pretty strict shooting schedule. You have a production diary, which I watched as well, and you had so many days that you had to shoot in. And how did post-production go? Was that because you didn't really cover that part?
Yeah, we failed to have the cameras rolling during that whole part. The production was tricky because it was a big puzzle of, since we weren't able to pay everybody to be there, we had to work on people's work schedules. And people, a lot of the actors were, working coffee shop jobs or restaurant jobs. So we really had to put together the shoot in a very mishmashy kind of way, spread over, 2 to 3 months, because it was hard to get all the actors in the room together. So that was a very tight, specific schedule. And then the edit was more on our own terms, which was nice. So how many months would you say we spent editing? A month?
I think we wrapped in April, and I feel like by the end of June we had pretty much finished it.
Yeah, but so there's kind of first the editing process, which maybe took a month and a half just to get to the final cut, what we call locked cut of the show,
which was a really interesting process because it was the first time that we'd sort of edited a narrative length project, and it was originally written to be 4 episodes, but in the edit process we found that the episodes, some were too long, the balance wasn't right, and the story flow wasn't working, so we spent a lot of time moving pieces around and sort of arrived at this 5-episode structure that felt the best. So that was a fun discovery process during the edit.
Okay. And then we spent a lot of time in doing sound and color, visual effects, music. It was a pretty extensive post-production process.
Wow, yeah. It definitely shows that you guys put everything into it. It was amazing, and I can't wait for season 2, and I don't want to pressure in it anymore, but yeah,
we would love to do it. So
yeah.
Anybody out there has any ideas of where we can get because really all we need is just a micro budget for a feature film, which is probably around $90,000 to $100,000 to make a super indie feature film. But that would be amazing for us because that would actually cover all of our expenses for the 90 minutes of content. So that's the kind of money where we can maybe raise it on Kickstarter, but I don't know if we have enough fans yet to guarantee that. Yeah. But I think we would be actually a relatively affordable investment for some kind of a distributor if they wanted to jump on board.
Yeah, well, hopefully we could do whatever we can to support you guys too, and whenever we see good quality work and, people that are just trying to get good stuff out there, we'd love to help and support people in any way that we can. So hopefully some of our fans will become yours as well.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean, I think this shows that how much the fans can do, because just tweeting out stuff and, connect us to you guys. So yeah, just keep putting it out there, and who knows, we're hopefully going to finally get this together in the next couple weeks. We want to sell like a special features, special edition DVD/digital download of the first season of Anamesis, so people can buy that through our website hopefully in a couple weeks.
Does it matter if they watch the series first and then the prologue, or
we've kind of debated that, like what's the best order to watch them in, because in some ways the short film is pretty different in tone from the web series. The web series is more of like a lost mystery, whereas the short film is a pretty kind of emotional, self-contained story. So really, it just depends on what you're in the mood for first.
Okay.
Yeah, tried to make it so it could work either way. So
yeah, because I was sending April the links so she can view it, and I was like, should I send her the film first or the series? And I think I send you the film, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Then I got thinking about it. Yeah, it probably doesn't really matter. Might be a twist if you watch it, the film after. But no, it's definitely.
It might be kind of more satisfying in some ways to watch the short film afterwards, since the show ends on such a cliffhanger right now. There's like no resolution, so you can kind of have this little extra bonus after you finish the 5 episodes and be like, oh, here's a nice little short story that has a conclusion.
Can you give us maybe not a full-blown spoiler, but maybe a teaser for what could possibly happen in season 2?
I mean, I feel like the vague statement I would make is that we want the show as a whole, as a one big arc, to be really a show about being quote unquote asleep to becoming awake or becoming lucid, and you can interpret that any way you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
It's in vague. Yeah.
And do you want to? I think I know what you meant in the film or the series in particular, the use of water. Did you have a special meaning behind that, or is it was just a background thing? Because in at least my studies of consciousness and other states of awareness, water can play a big part. I didn't know if you had any meaning behind it.
I mean, I think to be honest, there's probably a lot of unconscious. I think there's something very archetypal about just water. The ocean waves, all the kind of water spilling through cracks stuff that happens in the short. So yeah, I don't know if I can say I had any one deep meaning in mind with that.
Okay.
Definitely in the short film, you can say more literally, it's kind of his consciousness kind of giving him a symbolic representation of what's actually happening to him, which is he's bleeding out on the floor.
Yeah. Okay.
But in general, I feel like just kind of unconsciously, all the water imagery just felt right for being in the dream world. And yeah, the ocean always feels very much appropriate in that setting.
Yeah, I took the beach in particular, meaning that, being on the wet sand, being in the transition between the two worlds, the physical dry area and the wet ocean world. I don't know. It was just my view of it. I didn't know if that was any deeper meaning, but yeah, and then the short film with the water on the cracks, that does make sense with the bleeding out.
That's great too. I mean, I think part of what we wanted to do with the show too is just kind of keep enough stuff vague and just symbolic enough so that you can find meaning in it without it all being kind of like, this means this means this.
Right.
So
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to wish you guys luck, in the future on the future episodes, and I hope you can get some distribution deal going, because I'd love to see more.
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
If you'd like more information about our films or to purchase our DVDs, you can head on over to our website at thepastseries.com. They're also available to purchase on Amazon.com.
Our films are also streaming online at vimeo.com, gaiamtv.com, and iTunes.
If you have a show suggestion or would like us to interview someone specifically, please feel free to shoot us an email at info@thepastseries.com or send us a tweet at thepastseries.
Please rate and review us in iTunes and subscribe.
We hope you enjoyed the show.